Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make these lovely earrings. So we're going to start with this color here. This is the new Cylin Beads. So they're cylinder beads and they are exactly the same size as the Delicas. And you could probably use treasures as well. I'm not sure of the size conversion for that. I think maybe a number one. But the treasures, Toho treasures, are a bit different in size. So just be aware that you may end up with a larger earring. So these are the Cylin beads from John Bead. I'm so excited to show them to you. So this is my all-time favorite color. This is called Electro Silver. It is ridiculous how beautiful these beads are. You can see they're super tiny. They are glass beads, in case you're wondering. People have asked me that. So they are stunning. So the other color I used for these is the Crystal Silk Satin. And I have to say, if I were to pick my favorites of the new John Bead Cylin beads, it would be this gold here, which is Electro Gold Coat, the Silk Freeze Blue, the Crystal Silk Satin, and the Electro Silver. If you're going to buy any beads and you like to make beautiful dainty earrings like this is what I would use. Yeah. We'll talk some more about that. I can't stop talking about them. They're so amazing. So this is this one here that I made with those first two colors, the gold and the blue. And they turned out amazing. And then I used black and opaque black. And this is glow in the dark AB coral. The AB on this is stunning as well. And you know, it's funny, I used this color to go with the black because I just loved the pink color, and it's so hilarious. I had these on my desk and I turned my light off at night and you could see the single line through the earring glowing. It's hilarious. So yeah, I probably glossed over this part here. These are huggy backs. Lovely. And you can get these really fancy earring wires and components from BB Craft. And that's just a connection. And you just glue these in. So I'll be doing some videos on that in case you're wondering how to attach your stuff. We will attach this one here, but I thought I'd show you some different attachments. Now this one here is again the coral, glow in the dark coral with bronze. And again, how gorgeous is this bronze? Bronze metallic. This lovely. Yeah, these ear wires are really cool too. This one here is what we're going to be making today. So I've used 8mm Swarovski pearls in all of these. And this one's silver, powder rose, yeah. And this lovely flower silver finding. So you're going to need some thread. You can use the thread of your choice. You can use the John Bead Good Thread for this. This thread is super fine. You can go through multiple times with it. It's great. I did want to use the Miyuki because I was using the glow in the dark beads. I felt like maybe I needed a finer thread, but you know what? They're the same. I was looking at them. I'll have to take a look at the listing for them. But you can see by looking at it, it's the same width. So it shouldn't make a difference what you use. You can use Nymo thread, what's the other one? 1G is the other one. Like your embroidery thread will work as well. So you're going to need size 12 needle. Let me tilt this down now that we're talking about what we're going to be making. Move these up. So you're going to need some silver beads, some crystal silk. For this design, the complete earring with your finishing stitching, you're going to need about a wingspan and a half, which is about 2 meters of thread. If you have problems with your thread twisting up and knotting and stuff like that, or if you prefer not to pass your thread through the beads so much, I did find when I got to the end, the thread was starting to come apart. So you might want to do it in parts, like just do just under a wingspan and then add thread. I won't do it in this video, but in another video, I'll show you how to start and end thread without putting a knot, because we don't like knots, at least for this month. We're going to do a month of no knots. You're like, how's that going to work, Emma? So you can gently stretch your thread, and it takes the curl out of the thread that come on these small bobbins. And that's a big thank you to Tammy. She's the one that commented on one of my videos when I was saying I don't know how to get the twist out of the thread. Grab your needle and thread it. You are going to pick up 4 of your outline colors. So you have to decide what you're going to do outline and inside. And I will tell you, we will do some designs where everything is the same color. And then we'll do one where one side, like the inside color here, will be one color, and the outside color on the other side will be a different color. So that's pretty easy to do. I think this is the best one to learn from, because you have the different color beads to remind you where you're at in the pattern. I think if you were to do them all one color, you might get confused. That's what happens to me. I'm easily confused. So we're going to pick up 4 of the silver Cylin beads. A huge thank you to John Bead. I'll put the links in the description for the craft shop on Amazon. They have a shop in the US and in Canada, so you don't have to worry about cross-border shopping, whatever. They're on both sides of the border, and they have all the Cylin beads. So that's lovely. Take this down to the bottom. Leave about 10 centimeters at the bottom so you can thread that back in. We're going to put a knot, creating a loop like that. And put another knot just to secure that knot. Just be careful when you're doing that. If it flips around, you don't want to be catching one of your beads and then you've got a thread going across a bead. And I will enlarge this for you. And I'm going to move this up. Okay, so this is what you have with your tail. So I'm going to hang on to the tail here. So we're going to go up the one side through 2 of the beads. There, like that. So that's your first 4 beads. The reason I mention that is this part here of adding your beads on and the next couple of rounds that we're going to do is where I used to get mixed up. So let me know if you've ever made these before and if this is where you would get mixed up. And of course, you get mixed up at the beginning. It sucks for the rest of the design. It doesn't look right. I'll show you, I'll do a video of my old work. I actually have a bunch of them. So we're going to pick up 4 of the crystal silk satin. There's 4. We're going to pick up 4 of the, I'm trying to think what they call it, Electro silver, like that. And then 4 more of the crystal silk. And we're coming out of this bead. We're going to go through this bead and just this bead. This part's important. It seems like it's the slightest little step, but it is very important. So this is what it should look like. Let's see if we can get those to stand side by side there. Okay. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go over to the next one. Like that. Okay. And we're going to start doing peyote stitch. Now, because we want this design to go on an angle, we will be creating an angle with our colors. So if you think if we did peyote, say we were doing a normal peyote that went out this way, we would want, whenever you see those colors, you put those colors. And whenever you see those colors, you put those colors. For this, that's not going to happen because we want this like a little staircase going up. So the first bead, if you think of it this way, the bead you're coming out of, we're going to add that color. So let's take a silver. Coming out of that silver bead, skip the first crystal, go through the next one. And just make sure it's on the correct side there, on the outer side. Okay. Now we want crystal color. Pick up 1. Coming out of this crystal, we're going to skip that one. We're going to go through the next one. Like that. There. We're going to do, because we had 4 of the crystal color, we're always going to use, with peyote, as we know, we come out of a bead, we skip a bead, we go into the next one. That means in a set of 4 beads, you're always going to be adding 2 of that color. So if you can think of it that way, so pick up your crystal. You're coming out of this crystal bead. You're going to skip the first silver bead and go through the second silver bead. And I might have to get my nail in there to open it up a bit. This first 2 rounds is a bit confusing and finicky, so hang in there. So put that one there. That's what you have. So now we need to add 2 beads because, like I said, we're doing steps up. So let's add 2 silvers. We're coming out of the 1 silver. We're going to go into the very next silver. At this point, we don't skip anything. We're adding beads, and I try and get them. Part of the reason it's not sitting properly is my thread is still a bit curly. So now you might think, oh, we're going to add a silver there. Try and think this, like that step again. So just look at the other side and you see it's a crystal we're adding there. That will help you. And you're always going to mirror the other side. So pick up a crystal. Coming out of this silver, we're going to skip that last silver and we're going to go through the next crystal. Like that. We need another crystal. Coming out of this bead, we're going to skip that one and we're going to go through the next crystal. Like that. In place. You can see. And if you look on the other side, we need a silver bead to match this side. So let's grab a silver bead. Coming out of this bead, skipping the last crystal, we're going to go through the first silver on this side. Like that. And just check and make sure I didn't go through my thread. And pull it down. Open it up so you can see. So that's what we have so far. We're going to do one more round around and then we're going to fold it. So our thread is coming out of this silver bead here. We're going to go to the next one next door. We're going to go through this one and the next one. This is an important step. So get your needle in there. This is a lot easier to do by yourself when you're not like have your arms straight forward under a camera. Just saying. Like that. Okay. So again, like I said about the step going up, we want these silvers to keep going up the same way with all the other beads. So we're going to add another silver. So pick up a silver, coming out of this silver bead. Now this part's easier now that you've got sticking out beads. You can know that you're going to be adding a bead in the divots. So your silver's going to set right in there. Whoops. Let's go through that first crystal like that. Now we're going to add a crystal. I recommend too that if you're going to do this and you're doing this for the first time, first of all, don't be intimidated by it. I made these when I didn't know how to do peyote. Surprise. I was like, oh, those are pretty. I'm going to make those. But so you can do it. It's not like, but you have to just follow the best way to do that is get your stuff out, put it out, go to the exact step and do it, and then pause the camera, and then do the next step, pause the camera. Okay, so we need another crystal. Give us our 2 on this side. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip that bottom bead and go through the one that's sticking out like that. Okay. So now we need to add 2 beads at the top. And I'll tell you too, once we get going and I show you the rest of it, we have to count how many stitches we put on or beads we add on. Where I tend to do the add-on is when I add 2. Then I don't forget, oh, did I add at the bottom or did I add at the top? So we've got our 2 silvers. We're coming out of this bead. Go directly to the next one and go down it to add those beads. And just get them like that. Okay, so now your thread is coming out of this silver. If you look at this side, we need a crystal there to mirror it. So let's pick up a crystal and go through the very next bead. That. Then another crystal. So we're coming out of this bead, we're skipping that lower one, we're going through this one. So we're just adding in the slots. And now we're going to need a silver bead on this side. So we're going to put a silver in here. If you look at the other side, we have 2 silvers, so we need 2 on this side. So this is our silver. We're coming out of this bead, skip the lower, go through the next silver. And I'm going to show you what we have. This is what you should have. Now we're going to fold it. So I want you to take a good look and make sure this is what you have. There. So we have 2 at the bottom here. Then we have 2 silvers on each side here. 2 crystals on this side that are sticking out. And then the 2 up here. So we're going to take this and fold it like this. And this is the beginning. So you're going to match it up. So you have 2 silvers on each side. Your thread's coming out of the bottom silver on the left. We're going to go up through the 2 silvers on the other side, like that. And I just want to see if I can get that there so you can see it. Okay, so again, we're going to add a silver bead, continuing that staircase. We just need 1 silver. 1 silver. We're coming out of this one. We're going to skip that one. I'm going to go through this one. And I would recommend you pull tight. I'll tell you why. Let me see if I can show you. These ones here, look at how soft they are. So if you want your work to really hold its shape, I would highly recommend you pull it snug. It doesn't have to be tight, just I was quite loose with mine, and then when I got it done, I was like, oh, I don't think it's supposed to be this. Okay, so now we're going to just continue to add the colors. So we've got our crystal. We're coming out of the sticking out bead here. We're going to go into the sticking out bead there. There, like that. We need another crystal. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip that lower silver, and the one that's sticking out here, that's where we're going to put that crystal. Like that. Now we need to add, always add at the end, we're going to add 2 silvers. I'm going to go through just the one silver on the other side. Pop those in place like that. So now we want to add a crystal. If you look at the other side, we have a crystal there, so we need a crystal on that side. Go through the top of the next crystal bead like that. I probably should have done a different color. I didn't think. You know, when you start doing these on your own, you're like, oh, this is easy. It's like, not always. So there's your next crystal coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip that lower one. We're going to go through the next sticking out bead on the left side of your work. And the bigger this gets, the easier it is to see everything. So now we need a silver. So we're following those steps. Okay, pick up a silver. And let me see, yeah, just the one silver you're going to go through. Take your work, get it this way, pull your thread aside so you know there. We've got 2 silvers here, 2 silvers there. We're going to go through these 2 silvers on the right side, like that. And I'm going to pull it snug. Now we need another silver. So I'm going to go a little faster now. If you need it to slow down, just go ahead and change the speed on the playback speed. In the corner, you tap and it'll bring up the settings, and you can change that. Or you can go faster if you're if I'm talking too much. But I like talking to you. It's not my fault. You're the one that showed up. So the next crystal, go through that last silver. Pick up 2 silvers. Go down the silver on the other side. And just get those to sit side by side like that. We need a crystal on this side. And I hold my thread away just because this needle will pop through your thread. There. Another crystal. Through here. Now we need a silver. Like that. Then we're going to go across to the other side, go up 2 of the silvers. Like that. Pull it snug. Add another silver. So this side here is your first side. If you're thinking of doing like a circle, this is your first side. So that's why we're always stepping up in a sense with this. Because when you start to add this side, then the other side doesn't look right. So that's why I'm trying to orient you to the design, because for me, I could never figure out what the heck they were doing. It was always in a different language. And you know they have AI audio translation now on YouTube. So if you come across a video that's in a different language, you can go to the settings and go to captioning, or actually it'll say more at the bottom, and you do more and it'll say audio captioning, I think, and you can change it to whatever language. I think the routine language is English, but if you're in another country and you speak another language and I'm speaking English, you can have it in your language. So as far as I know, all my videos are, like, some videos may not be set up for it yet, but they did contact me and let me know that they would be doing that for my videos. So it's available. So you're going to continue this. So this is the important part. And you know what? I will put a little bit of an instruction in the comments for this, because that's the other thing I found super frustrating with these videos is it's not till they get to the end of the first step that they tell you how many stitches you're supposed to do. And I sometimes I went to the video just to find out how many stitches, because it's hard in a video to count how many beads when the hands are moving. And so let's say it outright, and I'll say it a couple of times throughout the video. For the designs that I've done, this is off of a 30 stitch pattern. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 15, 30, and 15. So our attachment's going to be on the side. And I think I mentioned earlier that I did watch a video earlier today, and they did 30 and then 29 on the other side and stitched it together at the base. So I will try some of those. Then you can also do smaller, and I will be doing some of those as well to show you what they look like and if it works. So let's just let's see where we're at here. We'll do one more row and figure out where we're at. So we're doing a crystal, crystal, that, 2 silvers, down the other side, crystal, crystal, and just watch it gets hooked sometimes. We need a silver there. Okay, so let's see what we have here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want 15. I think we'll do 10, and then I'll show you the turnaround, because we're going to use the other side to finish. So we're at this point here. So we'll do a turnaround here and finish that one. This way you don't have to watch me. So when we go to the other side, there's always going to be 2, because like we said, we started on this side. So that's why you go through 2. So we'll do 2 more of these. Pick up a crystal, crystal, pick up 2, Come down the very next silver. We need a crystal. Another crystal. Yeah, I think it would have been better with a different color. And a silver. And go across. Remember, we're always going up 2 because our round started on the other side. This will bring us to 10, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is 10. We need a silver, crystal, crystal, two silver, silver, come down the other side and just through the one silver, put these guys. Crystal. This is probably the one design that I found the most frustrating. Frustrating in the sense of trying to figure out what they're doing. And part of it is it's really hard to do on camera. And secondly, it's so tiny when you're starting out that it's really hard to. So I've got a silver. And there we go. So this is 10. For the design that I'm doing, we're going to do 15, 30, 15. So this is the beginning. And again, we're going to pretend this is 15. It's not a big deal. Like I can turn this into, a 10, 20, and 10, and it'll be smaller. So this is where what we're going to do is we're going to flip this around because we're going to start to come down the other way, this way. So if you look at this, we're going to create this area here. So to do that, we need to start from the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go across, go through the 2 silvers like we would normally do. But instead of adding beads on this side, we're just going to bring our thread through and start on the other side. So let's just go through. And I did find it's easier if you go to the outside and find that middle spot in between the 2 beads to get into your beads, just to pass your thread through. So now I can go through 2 at once, like that. And go through 2, like that. Go through the last one. Okay, so now we are going to start. We're going to go across. So we're not going to add 2 here because now this is the peak. This is the peak here. So we're not going to add anything to that. We're going to add it to the bottom. And it'll make sense when you see what we do. So we start by our thread going over just through the first silver bead. I need to extend my thread. That's why it's hooking. Okay. So let's just review that. We did our 10, which should be actually 15 for this design. We went around over to the other side, passed through the 2 beads, and passed through all of these beads, came up, passed over the top without adding, and now our thread is coming out of the first silver bead on the left side. Okay, you can see where it's coming through. So as you can see, we need to add a silver bead there. So remember when we were adding, the stairs were going up this way. Now the stairs are coming down this way. So we actually have to bring the silver outline down. So we are going to add a silver bead here. We're still doing peyote, so we're still passing through the sticking out beads. And just like that. Okay. So now we're going to add crystal twice. So 1 crystal. There's a sticking out bead that go through the next sticking out bead. Next crystal coming out of this sticking out bead, go through this sticking out bead. That. Let's see if you can see that. There, like that. Okay, so now we're coming out of the bottom of these silver beads. So we need to add something. We want to add 2 silver beads. So kind of like we did at the top, only we're going to be doing it at the bottom now. So we are going to add 2. So your thread's coming out of this left side silver. We're going to go into the right side silver on the other side with the 2 beads on there. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get them to kind of sit as best as you can, flush like that. Okay. So now we're going to just continue up. So we need a crystal, and a silver. So crystal, go into the next sticking out bead, like that. Next crystal, go to the next sticking out bead. Pick up a silver. So this is actually the finish of the round. Because remember, we brought our thread up and then started on the other side. So that helps to orient yourself to the design so you know how much you've put on, where you're putting it, that kind of thing. So we are just going to go across to the second one. And like we did on the bottom side when we were adding, we want to go through both of these beads, both these silver beads. So let's get our needle in there. There. Go through both of those silver beads. Okay. And this is where I find it makes sense to pull it a bit snug. Okay. So again, if you think of this as a staircase going down, we always want to outline it with silver. So we need a silver bead. And we're still doing peyote. So we got sticking out bead, sticking out bead. Put this in between the 2. Like that. So now we're going to do our crystals. 1 and 2. Go through that last silver bead like that. So you can see the kind of A shape starting, or arrow starting to. So now we need to add, because we're at the bottom here, we need to add 2 silvers. So we're coming out of the left side. We've got 2 silvers. We're going to go up just through the 1 bead there. And you can see they popped into place. And now we need a crystal bead to match the other side. So crystal. Another crystal. That. And a silver. So you can see it's going to match the same side, or the other side, I mean. Go through both of those silver beads at the top, like that. And pull it snug. Go over. Oh, you know what? I went through too many. Sorry about that. Let's come back down. So each time you're just going to go through 2 beads. Go through here. So we're going to, so that, and what that does is, see how this is open here? We want that thread to go across to close it. So go through the 2 here. Like that, and then pull it closed. Okay, so silver. Crystal. Another crystal. And you go through this bottom silver here. That. Pick up 2 silver. And just pop them, pull it in. Crystal. Crystal. Silver. And just go through the 1 silver there. And pull tight. Then go down the 2 on the other side, the silvers. That. So you can see this is really starting to take shape. So I think, let me see where the video is at. I knew it was going to be a long video, so I am going to, we're going to start on the other side. So we will be doing this side here. So I'll show you the turn. So you basically do, this is the turn that I just showed you how to do. So you're going to continue all the way to 30 stitches. And a little hint for when you're counting your stitches, so you don't have to keep counting and you don't want to be making a mistake, and then when you go to flip it and stitch it together, it's not working. I take, for every stitch, I take a bead like that, and then when I go and I add the 2 at the bottom, so remember I said you're going to remember it better if you think there's one step that you're always going to do the same that's not repeated in anything else. That's the addition of the 2 beads, whether it's here or in through here when we were doing it at the top. When you get to that spot instead of picking up 2 beads from your pile, pick up 1 and pick up 1 from your beads that you counted out. And then when you get to the end, you know you've done it. You can recount it just to check. But that's a good way to remember it. Otherwise, you'll be counting all the time. So let's go to the next one. So I'll use this needle. So let me know how this video is going. I really appreciate the input. I want to make sure that you don't have all the issues I had. So it's I'm realizing through looking at videos that it's a lot harder to do in a video than it is to do on your own. So, but I think we can get there. So just let me know. I definitely feel like I can do some improvement on this with my hand positions and stuff like that. Definitely the color would help. Maybe black thread, that kind of thing. So, okay, so we had, let's do it this way. So let me see how okay, so we were working down this way with our pattern, kind of like this upside down V. So we went all the way down and we got to the 30 that we needed. So I've already turned around and passed my thread through everything. So now I'm ready. I think I went too far. Maybe I didn't pass. Let me see. Oh, I didn't. Okay. So this was like, okay, so this was the end. So you start on this side and this is the end. So now we want to go change this down this way. I just couldn't figure out why there was 2 beads here. Too much information. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up the other side, and I'll tell you why we're going up the other side. Because we have 2 beads here, we actually want to be on this bead, but we just added that bead. This was our last. This was number 30. Okay, so we're going to just go up. Passing through everything. And this will make more sense too when we start, because basically it's the same turnaround as we just did here. And get our thread around. And just pay attention to where your thread is, because it does get caught in weird and wonderful places, and then you go to stitch it together. You're like, how come there's thread going across? I actually, one of my designs, I was so annoyed with the thread, I cut it and then I stitched through. Don't do that. That's like cheating on a whole other level. We don't like cheaters. And of course, my thread got hooked. We're still just threading our work up. Okay, so again, we are not adding at the top, we're adding at the bottom. This seems pretty dark. Okay, so just go through across without adding anything to your first silver on that side. We're going to add a silver bead and go through the next sticking out bead. That. Crystal. Crystal. That. Now we need to add 2 beads. So let's do the 15 here. So that's 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so there's our 15. So we're going to pick up one from our bead pile and one from this counted pile. Pick up 2 beads, go across to the silver on the other side, adding those 2 beads, and then we're going to do crystal, that, crystal, and silver, and go through this one here. There. So now we're going to go down the top silver on the left side as well as the next one. Now we're going to add another silver from our regular pile here. Let's move these guys so I don't get confused. Okay, so now go down through the crystal. We need a crystal. So this is kind of like review. See? Do you know what's funny? I'm not lying. There's videos out there. It looked like it was totally different. Like a direction change. And now that I'm doing it, it's like it's the exact same one I just showed you. So that we are going to pick up one from this pile, one from our counted pile. Go to the other side, go up the silver, and that flip there, and crystal, crystal, silver. Let's go up the one, go across to the other side, go down the 2 silver. That. We need another silver. Crystal. Crystal. That. Pick up one from your regular pile, one from your counted pile. For a total of 2, go up the 1 bead. Get those nicely side to side. And a crystal. Crystal. silver. And we're going to go across to the other side, go down 2 silver. Add a silver. Crystal. Crystal. So if you got this down, by all means, just fast forward. We're at the bottom here. So we're going to pick up a silver from our regular pile, 1 from our counted pile for a total of 2. We're going to go up the other side. Add a crystal. Crystal. Silver. So you can see just through the 1 silver, my needle went through both. And then across to the left, down 2 silver. See if you can see that. So my needle's going through 2 silver. Add a silver. Yeah, so I am going to pause the camera and I'll finish this off. I'm pretty sure you probably have the idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue this on till I'm done my pile of 15 here. So I'll have 15 here, 30 here, 15 here, and I'll show you how to attach it together and put the ear wire on. Okay, I'll be right back. Hi everyone, I'm back. So I have it completed. I did add an extra line here because I realized on the other end when I counted it, it wasn't quite 15, it was only 14. So 15, 30, 15. But I have to say, I have seen some designs just recently, and I'll do some where it's less beads. So they're smaller. So let's take a look at this one here. Yeah, so smaller. So this is, if you look in my hand, let's take this out a bit. So that's fairly big for an earring. So if you want something smaller and daintier, something smaller or daintier, you can definitely, we can see how small we can go with this. And I actually have some ideas on doing some like swerve type designs as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So let's put this together. We'll bring it close again so you can see. So I stopped at the end. Remember how I said, let me see here. It's at the end. Yeah, so they're both the same. So we had started on, I guess, on this side and then end on that side. Sorry about that. Okay, so now all we're going to do is zip it up. So if you've ever done peyote stitch where you're attaching 2 pieces of peyote stitch, so say you're doing a tubular section that started out flat and you flip it around and you can zip it up, that's what we're going to do. So if you haven't done that before, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you how to do it. So you're just taking your earring. I will say when I got done with this, it was really loose and flippy floppy, and that was with creating some tension. If you run into that I definitely think it's better when it's nice and rigid. So I just went ahead and with the extra thread I had on the other side, I just went up and over and then did a turn and then over, just to give it some stiffness. So we're just going to flip the one side like that. And we're going to flip this side towards it like that. So I'll hang on to it like this. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So my thread is coming out of this silver bead here. It's going to match up with this silver bead here. So you can see we're going to match it up with this side. So we're coming from the top going down. So you're going to match that as well. So you're going to go through this, just this silver sticking out bead. Bring your thread on the other side there. It does not want to go. Oh, behave. I cannot believe that. Okay, let me hang on to it there. So you don't have to pull it all the way in. That's the other part. And these beads are so accurate to like the shape and size and stuff that once we zip it up, you're not even going to notice. They're just going to fit really nicely. Okay, so we've gone through that one. Now, if you look at the other side, this bead is going to sit in this divot here. So we want to go through this bead coming from the bottom and I'm going under my thread. The thread's kind of in the way. I'm going to let it do what it wants to do so you can see like that. So now we're going to pick up the next sticking out bead, which is a crystal color, always going from the top down like that. That. Okay. So now we want the next sticking out bead, which is on the other side, go from the top down like that. You can see how it matches up. Go from the top down to the other side, sticking out bead like that. Then to the other side, go down through the last silver bead like that. And then through this one here on the other side. Like that. You can leave it loose like that, or you can pull it all in. Get everything in there. If you have problems, just go ahead and bring your thread out a bit. There we go. Like that. And pull that one. Okay. So now we're at this left hand bottom silver. We're going to cross over to the other one, which is now the sticking out bead. We're going to go from the bottom up and we're going to go from side to side. So we're going to go up through the other side, the next sticking up bead. And we'll double check that to make sure it's the correct one. And pull upwards to get it, there you go, in the right position. Like that. So now go up through the other side, up through the other side, the next sticking out bead, and then onto the other side, next sticking out bead, go to the other side, go up through the bottom, and you're just going to keep weaving back and forth through your sticking out beads. It's easier to see when you're doing it yourself. And then this silver bead here should be second last bead. And it's tight because that was where we put our knot. So that's why I'm having a hard time getting in it. See if I can get in it through here. There we go. That probably went through the thread. I can feel the tension. So then go back up through this one. And then we're going to go to the other side again. Get our thread in there. Let me pull that first to make sure. Okay, so make sure everything is in place. And you can kind of wiggle it around. There. And let me just make sure we're all attached at the top here. Yeah. So now you can just, what we'll do is we'll take this. This doesn't look right. It's not the same size. That's weird. Let me put it this way. No, I guess it's the same. It just looked, on camera it looks smaller. It's actually bigger on camera because it's stretched out. So let's just pull this down. What I was going to say is you could end your thread here, and you can use your thread to maybe reinforce it if it's really a little too loose for you. Or you can bring your thread up to the top and attach your ear wire. Now, normally I don't recommend that you, yeah, I think we do need to go to the next, because there's nothing crossing there. Let me just go across here and just do a loop. I feel like that one needs to be reinforced. Normally I don't recommend that you attach things with your beadwork thread, that you start a new piece of thread for that. But for earrings, there's no part of it that's going to be like mechanically structural where you need to have strength in it. No, I mean you could get stuck on something. I'm having difficulty seeing. I'm getting tired, I think. Let's just bring this up. So just go little ways up. There. Oh yeah, that's fine. I'm going to tilt my camera. It's driving me nuts here. Can you tell I'm getting tired? I'm like, oh. Is this what it's like for you guys too, beading? I'm usually pretty good at putting things down, but it's hard when I'm doing a video. I'm like, but I want to show you the whole thing. So let me just bring this all the way up. And one more here. Like that. There. And you can kind of massage it a bit to the shape that you want, more rounded, higher at the top or the bottom. And get our pearl, just pass through your pearl. That. Now these ear wires have a it actually is open, but I went and made sure it's closed quite well, and because it's at the top it shouldn't be an issue. But we're just going to go through that hole, that loop, and then we're going to go back through our pearl, and I'm just going to go up and down the top two beads. Let's bring that all the way, get it nice and snug. So then I'm going to cross to the front bead, go back up through your purl, and this should snug in so you're not going to see that. There. And I do put this part to the front. I think most people do, but you could do it the other way. That's why I mention it. That. Go back down. Skipping your ear wire. Go through your purl. And it starts to get really nice and snug. And so at this point you can go down a few beads here, like that. And I'm gonna go over one bead and up two, and I'm gonna do a loop around, and that way you don't create a knot. You can put knots in there and conceal them easily, but I like to. This was a trick that Jill Wiseman taught me how to do. Loop around your work so that you don't create any knots, and I love it. So go back around, and then I'm going to go up two, and then I'm going to cut it. So tight. There you go. There are these lovely earrings. Ta-da! So a huge thank you to John Bead for these lovely Cylin beads that we have now with these gorgeous crystal silk. I'll put the items in the description, and I'll put a very brief just the indication for how many stitches, so that you can look at that if you forget. But I think once you figured out that each smaller side is half of the larger side, then you're set. So there you go. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.